Hi, welcome to Prime Recap. During a protest, Bigfoot disappears into the forest without a trace, and his family takes a trip to Alaska to find him. Today we will recap the story of the movie, Bigfoot Family, from 2020. In Alaska, during a beautiful aurora borealis phenomenon, a hare must run to escape a wolf that plans to devour it. The animal tries to hide in an ice tunnel, but slips all the way through the maze until it ends up outside and must continue its escape through the forest. Just as it is about to be devoured, the hare makes a great leap and manages to free itself from the clutches of its predator. He sees a den a few meters away, but before he can reach it, the wolf blocks the passage and the creature must continue his run, until he reaches a cliff and has nowhere else to go. The animal was already convinced that this was the end for him, but both are surprised by a big explosion that takes place in the valley, and the hare takes advantage of the wolf's moment of distraction to escape. Meanwhile, in the United States, Adam tries to get used to his routine with his new family members. Numerous creatures now live in his house, and they were all friends of his father when he lived in the forest. Shelley, his mother, is the only person in the family who cannot talk to animals and loses her patience with Trapper every time he ventures into the kitchen. During breakfast, the family gathers in front of the TV to watch James's interview in the news. The man tells how he was a scientist doing research on gene sequencing when one of his experiments went wrong. This caused his DNA to mutate and he became Bigfoot. For several years, James had to hide in the forest because he was being hunted by a pharmaceutical company that intended to capture him to study his DNA. However, when the company was finally taken down, he was able to return to the city to live with his family. While watching the interview, Adam questions the fact that his father never stays home. Even now that he is free, James spends more time in the spotlight than with his wife and son. After breakfast, the boy goes to school, where he is hounded by his father's fans. The poor boy does not have a second's peace, as both students and teachers ask him to get Bigfoot's autograph. In an attempt to escape from them, Adam hides in the bathroom, but is found by his inconvenient colleagues and must escape through the window. Seeing Emma talking to another boy, Adam gets distracted and ends up falling into the garbage can. At that moment, the girl hears the noise and goes to investigate. Emma is surprised to find him inside the dumpster and accompanies him on his way back home. Adam has always been in love with her, but has never had the courage to expose his feelings. As he watches the young woman drift away, he regrets not having asked her out, but now it is too late. The boy notices a beautiful vehicle parked in front of his house and wonders whose car it is. Upon entering the house, he soon discovers that the car belongs to an agent who plans to hire his father to be the face of major brands in the market. The man insists that Bigfoot sign the contract, but James says he doesn't want to license his image to any brand. Upon hearing this, the agent keeps insisting on making a business partnership with him and James has to kick him out of his house. Now that he is free, the scientist wants to do something that will give meaning to his life, and after reading a letter that was sent by a group of activists from Alaska, he decides to go there to help them in their cause. The letter says that the government has authorized Extract to extract oil from the state's largest wildlife reserve. This happened because the oil company convinced the government that its oil extraction process is clean and causes no environmental impact. However, some environmentalists suspect that the company is lying and are asking Bigfoot to help them attract media attention and expose the truth. James then says that he needs to go there and use his influence to help make the world a better place. Shelley and Adam do not agree with this decision, as they want to have their family reunited at home, but nevertheless, James decides to follow his heart and travels to Alaska. He goes by helicopter and the pilot takes the opportunity to do some stunts on the way, which leaves Bigfoot completely terrified. When he finally lands on a lake, James begins to feel very ill, but after recovering from the flight, he turns on his camera to record his walk to the camp. Suddenly, he is surprised by the arrival of a moose, which attacks him and orders the man to fall off his land. After a few hours of walking, James finds the activists who invited him to support their cause and discovers that the couple, Seamus and Pam, are the only ones who are fighting for the extract to leave the valley. Just then, Arlo appears and introduces himself as the newest member of the team. He says that he was born and raised in Alaska and is there to help defend those lands. In an attempt to get new supporters, James makes a video and posts it on the internet. Adam is one of the few people to watch the recording and feels sorry for his father when he sees that the video has only 14 views. So he decides to help him out and makes some edits to make the video more dynamic. He then publishes the new version on the internet and, within a few hours, gets millions of views. When he wakes up the next morning, James is surprised to see dozens of new supporters who have come from all over the world to support them. The small group of protesters attracts media attention and Bigfoot has the opportunity to get its cause into the news. Connor Mandrake is the new director of Extract, which has been run by his family for 3 generations. The man says that back when his father was the director, the oil extraction process created a lot of damage to the ecosystem. This has led their oil company to invest in a new technology that allows them to extract the oil without causing any damage to nature. But, of course, this drivel does not convince Adam and his mother, who become even more suspicious of the company. That night, James decides to leave the camp and go to investigate what is on the other side of the fence in order to collect evidence against the extract. He sneaks out, but is caught by Arlo, who has just returned from a trip to the bathroom. Bigfoot then uses his skills to infiltrate the company's facilities without being seen, and finds something very suspicious. However, when he starts recording the evidence that Connor was lying, something sneaks up from behind and manages to capture him. The next morning, when he goes to eat his breakfast, Adam finds his family gathered in front of the TV and is surprised to hear an announcement on the news that Bigfoot has disappeared. Arlo says that he saw the scientist leaving the camp in the middle of the night and thought he was going to the bathroom. After that, nobody heard from him again. Upon hearing this, Shelley prepares to take the next flight to Alaska, but Adam manages to convince her to take the trailer to take Wilbur and Trapper. The foursome then hits the road, and wherever Wilbur goes, he frightens the drivers. After a long journey full of mishaps, the family reaches Canada and makes its way to Alaska. Now, they need to get to Rocky Valley, and Shelley stuffs herself with coffee while driving non-stop while Adam and his friends rest quietly. When they finally reach their destination, the trailer gets bogged down in mud and Shelley is startled to see a man peeking through the window. Just then, Wilbur gets out of the vehicle to stretch his body and Arlo introduces himself. Shelley remembers seeing that guy on TV with the activists, so she decides to trust him. The man says that after what happened to Bigfoot, the other protesters got scared and left. Arlo offers to drive the family to the last place James was seen. Then, Shelley asks Adam, Wilbur and Trapper to stay in the trailer until she returns. Minutes later, a group of armed men appear and ask Adam to open the door, claiming to be friends of his mother. Suspecting that it is a trap, the trio decides to attack, but Trapper ends up being hit by a tranquilizer dart and faints. To prevent Adam from being captured, Wilbur asks him to run away and forms a shield so that the boy will not be hit by the darts. During the escape, the boy injures his foot and must hide in order to heal it. Otherwise, he will be captured. Adam then hides in an old warehouse and uses his powers to recover. He then removes his shoes so that he can run at high speed. However, the men do not give up on capturing him and continue chasing the boy until he ends up falling off a cliff. Believing their target to be dead, the hunters leave, but Adam manages to survive. He tries to call for help, but his cell phone has no signal. So the young man walks through the forest and enters a cave to warm himself when he is surprised by a wolf. The animal tries to attack him, but Adam manages to dodge it and says that he is looking for his father. When he realizes that the boy can understand him, the wolf is surprised and says that no human can be trusted. The creature says that the species only cares about destroying the forest and poisoning the soil, but Adam claims that his father went there to protect that valley and eventually disappeared. The boy promises that if the wolf helps him, the forest will be saved, and upon hearing this, the animal claims not to know where Bigfoot is, but is willing to guide Adam to the place where he has been taken. Minutes later, Trapper wakes up and removes all the darts from Wilbur's body, but the bear is still out. So the raccoon takes the opportunity to clean out his food supply. After 2 hours of walking, both Adam and the wolf are hungry, and the animal takes the opportunity to hunt again for the hare that he missed the other day. However, the boy does not allow it to devour him and helps the hare escape while holding the wolf by the tail. Meanwhile, the valley is already being contaminated by oil and all the animals that live in that area end up being driven out. Adam uses his cell phone camera to record the whole thing and is surprised by the arrival of a drone, which is there to stop any intruders from getting close. When the robot leaves, Adam begins the mission to rescue his father, but the wolf refuses to go with him because he is unwilling to walk under poisoned soil. As a result, the boy must continue his journey alone and manages to break into the lab. In order to go unnoticed, he steals a uniform and follows Connor Mandrake into the operations office. Once there, the engineer informs them that the bomb they plan to use for extraction will have a major impact on the local ecosystem, as the entire valley will be flooded with oil. Upon hearing this, Connor orders his team to continue with the plan, because now that Bigfoot and the activists are no longer watching them, everyone will believe it when his company makes a statement saying that it was all just an accident. Adam is terrified to hear this and records every word so that he can use it as evidence against that demented man. After collecting the necessary evidence, he rushes to the mountains in search of a signal to publish the video and ends up meeting Arlo on the way. The man says that there are several guards waiting for him up there and claims to know another way out. However, it was all just a trap to capture Adam, and he reveals that he was hired by the X-Tract to infiltrate the protesters to gather information. It was Arlo who tell on James and got him arrested. He then handed Shelley over to the security guards. Now his task is to get rid of the last member of the family. After several hours, Wilbur wakes up and Trapper claims that the extract guards have stolen all the food from the trailer. However, the bear doesn't pay much attention to what he says, because he is really worried about Adam. Wilbur then pushes the trailer to get it out of the mud while the raccoon takes the wheel. Suddenly, the moose appears to push the vehicle and Wilbur thanks it for its help. What he didn't realize is that the creature's true intention was to drive them out of that forest. Startled, the bear runs to avoid being attacked and manages to get into the trailer. The duo breaks into the facility and drives quickly through the valley. Trapper has put a rock on the accelerator and ends up falling off a cliff because he can't brake in time. Still, the vehicle keeps going until it hits a tree head-on, but the duo manages to survive the accident. When Connor and Adam meet, the boy tries to convince him to preserve the valley, but the demented man says that he doesn't care at all about the forest. To him, all that matters is his company's profits. The boy then asks where his parents are, and Connor pushes him into a well. According to him, Adam's parents are somewhere down there. Now that he is trapped underground, Adam loses hope and begins to think that this will be the end for him. He then records a farewell video for his parents and asks the person who finds that device to post all the videos on the internet so that the extract will be taken down forever. Finally, Adam records a statement to Emma, in which he says he wishes he had had the courage to tell her how he feels. After the recording, the young man struggles to free himself and manages to get to the ground. He walks through the dark and empty place with only the flashlight of his cell phone to guide him. Minutes later, his mother finds him and almost attacks the boy thinking he is one of the guards. Upon seeing her son, Shelley feels extremely relieved and helps him get out of the handcuffs. The focus is now on finding James, and the duo starts shouting his name so that he can hear them with his super hearing. The problem is that Bigfoot is tied up in a wooden trunk and, upon hearing his family, tries to break free. However, he has an accident and Adam hears his screams. The boy then runs to the scene and manages to find his father. At this moment, James reveals that he has a broken foot and, being too weak, has not been able to recover. After healing him, Adam and his parents prepare to leave the place before the explosion. Meanwhile, Connor's engineers drill a giant hole underground and are ordered to program the bomb. Just then, the drones invade the mine to check for any intruders, and Adam and his family are discovered. Connor then orders his employee to eliminate the trio, but the boy refuses. So Arlo is summoned to do the job, and he has all the robots hunt down the family. To get rid of those machines, Adam and his parents get into an elevator and one of the drones cuts the cable, causing them to fall at high speed. Luckily, James manages to use a shovel to soften the fall and the family hitches a ride to find their way out of those tunnels. While trying to escape, they must get rid of the robot attacks and Adam is captured. The boy is about to be cut in half when his mother jumps with him into another cart and both continue to be chased. Seeing his family in trouble, James jumps on the drones and, after destroying them all in midair, is reunited with his wife and son. When he realizes that he has been defeated, Arlo is furious and destroys the machine. However, Connor has another card up his sleeve and intends to use the bomb to destroy them. The device was to be triggered only after 24 hours, however, it changes the timer and now the explosion will happen in the next 10 minutes. The destruction of the robots has set fire to the oil that has already spread throughout the mine, but Adam and his family manage to escape in time. As soon as they leave the tunnel, the signal returns and the boy begins to share the videos he recorded on the internet. The video is posted seconds before the trio is thrown into the river and James helps his son out of the water. He then goes to save his wife, who is about to be swept away by the current. The couple falls into a waterfall, but soon makes it to dry land. A voice announces that the detonation of the bomb will happen in 1 minute. And James orders his son to run as far away from the valley as possible. But instead, Adam decides to go to the bomb, hoping to be able to deactivate it before the explosion. When his parents arrive at the top of the mountain, they realize what the boy has done, but it is too late to stop him. Adam then goes down the cable that holds the bomb, and with only 1 second to go before the explosion, he manages to disarm it. Furious, Connor orders the engineer to start a new countdown, but the boy explains that this cannot be done. To trigger the bomb, he will need a new explosive with a charge strong enough to induce detonation. Connor and Arlo are on their way to the mine when Trapper and Wilbur appear in the trailer and attack the demented ones. However, the raccoon is soon knocked down by a tranquilizer dart, and the bear must push the vehicle against his enemies to stop them from advancing. At this point, the explosive is thrown high up and is about to hit the ground when Bigfoot manages to grab it. Arlo then approaches with a gun in his hands and orders James to hand over the device. At this point, he is attacked by the moose and must flee. There are only a few seconds left before the explosion, and Bigfoot is unable to deactivate the bomb. So he decides to throw the object so that it explodes in the sky and no one gets hurt. The explosion attracts the attention of a helicopter full of reporters who approach to investigate. When Adam sees the aircraft, he realizes that his plan has worked and the videos have been published on the internet. Minutes later, the police helicopters appear and Connor tries to escape. However, he is attacked by the hare and chased by the wolf. Ultimately, both he and Arlo become victims of their own poison and end up awash in a pool of oil. After working as a team to get rid of his human enemies, the wolf goes back to chasing the poor hare. In the following weeks, the protesters help clean up Rocky Valley and the government prohibits any company from extracting oil from that land again. After accomplishing their mission, the family returns home and Adam goes to meet Emma. The young woman tells him that she has seen the video in which he declares himself and kisses the boy. At that moment, Adam gets so excited that his feet start to grow and he ends up destroying another pair of shoes. Ashamed, the boy asks Emma out and the whole family is happy to see them together. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.